Everything you've been told about studying English is wrong, and today I'm proving it with one skill that 99% of learners ignore completely. Hello, smart learners of the world, and welcome back to the LinguaFox Podcast, the show where we cut through all the noise, all the myths, and all the outdated advice, and we talk about what really makes you improve your English. I'm your host, Abbas, and today I'm bringing a topic that I promise you, and I don't say this lightly, will transform the way you study from this moment on. Today's episode is called Why Multitasking Destroys Your English. Attention Science Simplified. And I want you to listen to this episode as if it's an intervention, because every single day I see learners sabotaging themselves, not by being lazy, not by being unmotivated, not by lacking talent, but by doing too many things at the same time. They think they are helping themselves, they think they are being efficient, they think they are learning passively, but in reality, multitasking is destroying their English, silently, invisibly, and consistently. So today I'm going to show you exactly why multitasking blocks your listening, slows your speaking, weakens your vocabulary, and interrupts your flow and confidence, and what to do instead. So let's begin. Before we get into the science, let's talk about something very simple. The brain cannot do two language tasks at the same time. It can only switch very fast, but switching comes with a cost. People think they are multitasking, but they are actually rapid task switching. And every switch resets comprehension, memory encoding, and attention. Let me give you the three most common examples, the ones that almost everyone does and almost everyone thinks are harmless or even helpful. Myth number one: I can listen to English while doing chores. This is the classic. Cutting vegetables, cleaning, folding laundry, washing the dishes, and in the background, a podcast, an audiobook, a YouTube video. Sounds good, right? Exposure is exposure. No. Here's the truth. Background listening gives you the illusion of learning while delivering almost zero real improvement. Why? Because attention is not there. Your brain prioritizes the movement, the decision-making, the physical actions. The English becomes noise, like a song you don't remember even though it played for 4 minutes. Yes, you hear, but you don't encode. You don't store, and you don't process patterns. You don't build comprehension muscles. It's like sitting in a gym, watching people exercise, and assuming your muscles are growing too. Myth number two: I study English while scrolling social media. This one is brutal. People think, oh, it's fine, I just check a message. I just reply to a comment. I just switch to Instagram for 10 seconds. But here's what we know from attention research. Every time you switch apps, your brain needs between 5 and 20 seconds to rebuild the mental context of the original task. So a 30-minute study session becomes 8 minutes of real concentration and 20 minutes of cognitive recovery. And after a while, learners don't understand why they feel stuck, why their reading is slow, why their listening feels difficult, why their speaking feels blocked, because they keep breaking their attention like a cookie into tiny crumbs that never form a whole. Myth number three: 2 apps open equals double the learning. Dictionary in one app, video in another, notes on the third. You think you're being smart, but what you're really doing is interrupting the entire learning sequence. Every time you switch, your short-term memory resets the thread of meaning, breaks your ability to guess vocabulary, collapses your understanding, and becomes shallow. You lose the rhythm, and language is rhythm. When you break the rhythm, the language settles at the surface, never deep enough to become automatic. Let's break down the 4 major skills: listening, speaking, vocabulary, and pronunciation, and exactly how multitasking blocks progress in each one. Listening is not just hearing words, it's decoding patterns, building prediction, recognizing sounds instantly. Here's the key takeaway. Listening is one of the first skills to collapse when attention is divided. Why? Because your auditory processing is competing with visual distractions, emotional distractions, movement, notifications, background thoughts, and many more. When you multitask, the brain cannot detect the subtle differences between English sounds. So you miss the endings. You miss the connected speech. You miss the intonation. You miss the clues that predict meaning. And you end up feeling like English movies or podcasts are too fast. Not because they are too fast, but because your attention is too fragmented. Speaking requires rapid access to vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. But here's the problem. Fluency only develops through sustained attention. Multitasking destroys sustained attention. If you often speak English while texting, browsing, checking messages, or thinking about something else, you never let neural pathways automate. Your brain keeps stopping mid-sentence to retrieve words. Your grammar becomes unstable. Your confidence drops because the brain feels overloaded. This is why multitaskers almost always plateau at intermediate level. They never give their brain the uninterrupted conditions required to build fluency. Vocabulary learning has one enemy: shallow encoding. If you see or hear a word while you're distracted, the brain recognizes it, but doesn't store it. You remember the vibe, but not the word. You remember the situation, but not the phrase. You remember that you heard it before, but you don't recall the meaning. This creates a huge problem. You think you're learning vocabulary, but you're only learning familiarity. Familiarity does not equal mastery. To transfer a word from short-term memory to long-term memory, you need attention plus repetition plus context plus emotional engagement. Multitasking kills all four. Pronunciation is basically training your ears and muscles. But to train your ears, you need to be fully present with the sound. Multitasking prevents your brain from noticing subtle differences, analyzing stress patterns, detecting rhythm, feeling the beats of English. When you multitask while listening or practicing, your pronunciation stops evolving because the brain literally doesn't get the acoustic details it needs to make adjustments. This is why so many learners feel like, I've been listening for years, but my pronunciation didn't change. The truth? They were listening, but not attending. Now we get into the dangerous part. The things learners do every day that look harmless on the surface, even look productive, but actually damage the flow of learning. Let's break them down simply. Habit number 1. Watching English content while chatting with friends. This is the attention trap. You think, I'm watching, I'm learning, but the second the message pops up, your attention goes straight to the chat because the brain always prioritizes emotional reward. The English becomes the background process and you don't absorb anything. After months of this, learners complain, I watch a lot of English, but I still don't understand movies. Of course you don't. You didn't actually watch them. You scanned them. Habit number 2. Listening to English podcasts while driving or walking. This one feels productive and sure, it's better than listening to nothing. But does it actually help your English? Not really. Because during driving or walking, your attention is on balance, safety, navigation, visual scanning, reacting to the environment, and so many more. The English becomes wallpaper. It's good for getting familiar with rhythm and accent, but not good for learning new vocabulary, improving comprehension, or building deep skills. Habit number 3. Studying with music, even instrumental music, especially music with rhythm or beats. Here's the science. Your brain uses the same auditory channels for music and for language. They compete. If the music is rhythmic, your brain allocates resources to follow it, which takes resources away from processing English. You end up reading slower, listening shallower, and remembering less. Music is fine for relaxation or background comfort, but not for serious linguistic work. Habit number 4. Switching between apps to look up every word. This destroys flow. It interrupts context building. It stops your imagination. It resets your focus. It cuts the movie, the podcast, and the article like a glitch. Instead of understanding the big picture, you get stuck on small details. This is why so many learners know many individual words but cannot follow a story, cannot summarize, cannot enjoy English. Their mind is in micro-focus mode, not macro-flow mode. Let's talk solutions. You don't need to study more. You need to study undistracted. Here are the most powerful single-tasking techniques. 1. The deep input session. One focused 15-minute listening or reading session does more for your brain than 2 hours of background exposure. Set one objective today. Only listening. Tomorrow, only reading. Next day, only shadowing. Give your brain clarity. It will reward you with speed and retention. 2. The one device rule. If you're watching a video, watch it on one device. If you're reading an article, read it on one device. Turn off notifications. Put the phone away. Force the brain into a single context. This is how you build flow. 3. The no pause, no dictionary first round. This trick changes everything. When you read or listen for the first time, don't pause. Don't stop. Don't check anything. Just flow through the content. Why? Because the first round is about building context, not collecting words. Once the big picture is clear, you can go back and study vocabulary. This is how native speakers learn. Macro first, micro second. 4. Micro immersion blocks. Do 10 minutes of pure, uninterrupted English. No multitasking, no music, no messages, and no switching. Your brain will actually enter immersion mode, which gives you deep memory formation. 10 minutes of purity beats 1 hour of distraction. Alright, now the easy part. Let's make this actionable. 1. The 3-2-1 technique before starting any English session. 3 minutes, calm your mind, breathe, close all the apps. 2 minutes, preview what you're about to study. And 1 single task. Commit to it for the next 10 to 20 minutes. This removes noise from your brain. 2. Airplane mode study. Put your phone on airplane mode, or use a focus app, or physically put the phone in another room. You instantly eliminate 95% of attention leaks. 3. 1 goal per session. Don't try to learn everything in one day. That's chaos. Choose 1 goal. For example, today, improve my listening tolerance. Tomorrow, master 10 verbs. Next day, shadow for 5 minutes. Focused goals equals faster progress. 4. Replace bad habits with good ones. Instead of background listening, apply intentional listening. Instead of music while studying, apply silence. Instead of switching apps, batch dictionary checks. Batching alone increases comprehension by 30 to 40%. 5. The 7-day multitasking detox challenge. This is your experiment. For 7 days, study in airplane mode. Use only 1 device. Do 10-minute deep sessions, no music, no switching, no background listening unless intentional. After 7 days, your listening improves. Your reading speed increases. Your vocabulary retention doubles. Your confidence grows. The results speak louder than any theory. I want to close with something personal. Most learners are not failing because they're lazy. They're failing because they are overstimulated. They're not failing because they lack intelligence. They're failing because their attention is being stolen from them. You don't need more motivation books or more apps or more teachers or more courses. You need less noise. You need one thing at a time. English is not about perfection. It's not about studying for hours. It's not about consuming endless content. It's about building a relationship with a language where your brain says, I'm here, I am present, I am focused, and I'm absorbing. Multitasking destroys that relationship. Single tasking rebuilds it. If you can master your attention, you can master your English. Thank you for listening to episode 53 of the LinguaFox Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who needs to hear the truth about multitasking. And if you try the 7-day detox, send me your results. I love seeing the transformations. Until next time, keep learning with clarity, intention, and focus. Stay sharp, stay curious, and above all, stay LinguaFox.